My name is Alexia Harlow, 50 years old. The living room is perfect for Sunday afternoon naps. Golden light pours through the big front windows, pooling over the rug and across my recliner. The same baseball game hums on the TV, the same commentator's drone I've been half listening to for years. After more than 2 decades together, my boyfriend Ethan knows my weekend routine by heart. Work stress has been chewing holes in me lately. Ironic, considering what I'm about to find out. I settle into the recliner, kick my feet up, let my eyelids sink closed. I'm not actually tired yet, but I know what happens when Ethan sees my eyes shut. He jokes I can sleep through earthquakes and car alarms. Once he told Diana, my sister-in-law, my brother's wife, that I could probably sleep through my own funeral. I was about to find out how close that joke was. I've just started slowing my breathing, letting my muscles sag, when his phone rings in the kitchen. He usually takes calls in our bedroom or his office when it's family stuff, but today, I guess he assumes I'm already gone to the world. Cabinets whisper open, footsteps cross tile. It's me, he says, voice lower than usual. That's the tone he uses for important things. The same tone he used when he was organizing my brother Marcus's surprise 50th. The same tone he used when he spent hours detailing our last romantic getaway with military precision. Diana's name probably glowed on his screen. She calls a lot. Holidays, birthdays. Have you talked to Alexia about talks? She's been part of our family for over a decade. The sort of woman who brings casseroles when someone gets sick and remembers everyone's favorite dessert. I keep my breathing steady, slow even. My mouth falls slightly open in that unflattering way Ethan likes to tease me about. Next Friday, Ethan continues, the hiking trail like we discussed. My chest tightens a little. We did talk about hiking. He'd framed it as a surprise reconnection trip. Just us, Lex, he'd said, rubbing my shoulders. No emails, no phones, no deadlines. He always takes those stupid photos at the Overlook, Ethan says. The words slide into me like a blade made of ice. Photos at overlooks. We've never been to this trail, never been to this overlook, but anyone who knows me knows I love a good view. I'm the one who waits for the perfect shot at the top, who insists on one more angle, one more take. The insurance investigator won't question a hiking accident, Ethan continues, especially with her heart medication making her dizzy. My blood goes cold. Heart medication. I don't take heart medication. I've never taken heart medication. My last physical was boring in the best way. Perfect cardiovascular health, normal blood pressure, cholesterol, so textbook the doctor practically applauded. 27 years I've been planning this, Ethan says, almost reverent. Ever since I found out about the policy changes, Di. 27 years. My tongue sticks to the roof of my mouth. 27 years ago, we'd just moved into our first tiny apartment together, sharing a bed that squeaked if you breathed wrong. I was 23, he was 26, and we were both so stupidly in love it was almost embarrassing. $2 million is worth the wait, he says calmly, plus the house, the business, everything. Alexia won't know what hit her. Alexia, me. He says my name like he's talking about a stranger. On the TV, a crowd roars as someone hits a home run. The sound feels like it's coming from underwater. The fall needs to look natural, he adds, his voice dropping. One slip on loose rocks. No one will think twice about a 50-year-old woman with balance issues. Balance issues I don't have. I run 3 miles most mornings. I lead client site visits upstairs with coffee in one hand and a roll of plans in the other. I have never so much as stumbled on our evening walks. Just make sure you're there as my alibi witness, Ethan says. Grieving family members always look more believable together. We'll comfort each other through the tragedy. We. My fingers twitch against the recliner, but I force them still, force my ribs to rise and fall slowly. He moves closer. I can hear the hardwood creak beneath his weight. He's completely out, Ethan whispers into the phone. Like always. Sleeps like the dead. The irony hits so hard I almost flinch. He stands beside my chair. I can feel him looking down at me, his gaze crawling over my face, my chest, my hands, measuring, calculating. The silence stretches so long, I swear he can hear my heartbeat hammering. Then his footsteps retreat. Friday morning, 9 sharp, he says, voice returning to normal as he walks back toward the kitchen. Wear your hiking boots and bring tissues. We're about to become very wealthy widows. Plural. Widows. Diana, her husband, my brother. My stomach rolls. The call ends. Water runs. A drawer opens. He starts humming as he moves around the kitchen. The same tune he hummed while he iced my birthday cake last year. The same tune he hummed on our first road trip when we got lost and laughed until we cried. The same tune he hummed on the night he told me, "I want to grow old with you." For the first time in our entire relationship, I am afraid of Ethan. That night, I lie next to him in bed, staring at the ceiling while he breathes evenly beside me. If I turn my head, I can see his profile in the weak glow from the streetlight. Familiar, loved, mapped into my brain after all these years. 27 years of love. 27 years of candles, anniversaries, and "you're my person." 27 years of him slowly, carefully constructing my death. Every memory that used to comfort me now feels like evidence. Our 5th anniversary, he'd surprised me with champagne and a homemade dinner, then casually brought up life insurance. "We should be responsible," he'd said. "Just in case. I couldn't live with myself if something happened to you, and I couldn't keep the business going." All the times he insisted on handling our financial planning. "You hate numbers," he'd say, kissing my forehead. "Let me carry that burden." The careful way he'd cataloged every minor complaint I ever mentioned: headaches, a flutter in my chest during a bad bout of flu, a dizzy spell when I skipped breakfast. He'd written them down, so we can tell the doctor everything accurately. Last year, he suggested we update our wills and policies. "We're older now, babe," he'd murmured, fingers massaging the tired spot between my shoulders. "We have more to lose. It's just grown-up stuff." He'd left pamphlets scattered around the house about women's heart health. He'd gently nudged me toward a cardiologist named Dr. Henley that he'd found through a client, an appointment I somehow never quite managed to go to. "Emergency at his office," Ethan would sigh. They had to reschedule. Again and again. A false medical history. That's what he was building. An entire parallel version of me on paper, dizzy, fragile, inexorably ticking toward a tragic hiking accident. I think about our neighbor, Mrs. Peterson, who'd had a heart scare last spring. While I'd baked banana bread and worried about whether she'd fully recover, Ethan had asked questions like an eager intern. What meds did they put him on? How long did they say he'd feel weak? He'd called it morbid curiosity. I'd called it your true crime obsession. We'd laughed about it in bed later. I'm not laughing now. Beside me, Ethan shifts in his sleep and drapes an arm over my waist like he's done 1,000 times. I lie there, rigid, my mind racing. If I confront him now, he'll stop the plan. That sounds like a good thing until I picture him adjusting, postponing, choosing a different cliff, a different accident, maybe one without witnesses, without GPS, without any evidence at all. He's already waited 27 years. He can wait longer. If I do nothing, I die on Friday. If I panic, I probably die later. I stare into the dark and feel something inside me harden. I am not going to die on a hiking trail for $2 million. I am not going to let him turn my love into my cause of death. Very calmly, underneath the blanket, I slide my hand toward the edge of the bed, fingers brushing the cool wood of my nightstand. My mind starts cataloging everything I heard, everything I know, everything I can prove. Phone calls can be repeated. Conversations can be recorded. Routes can be changed. Witness lists can be rewritten. Beside me, Ethan exhales, content and oblivious. I stare at the ceiling, wide awake, and start planning how to survive my own murder. Ethan left early the next morning, humming again as he buttoned his shirt, kissed my forehead, and told me not to stress too much at work today. He smelled like his usual cedarwood cologne. He smiled like he always smiled. He walked out the door like a man who expected to cash in on Friday. The second the garage door rumbled shut, the house exhaled. And so did I. Not relief, resolve. I padded into his office, the room he always kept organized to his system, which translated to stacks of receipts, Post-its everywhere, and files he claimed I'd just mess up if I touched. Today I touched everything. The dossier. It didn't take long to find. A folder buried deep in his computer under a bland title, Vacation Ideas. Cute, Ethan. Cute and stupid. Inside, a document labeled Horizon Trail, Plan, and another one titled Alexia's Health Decline. The second one made my stomach twist. It was a fabricated medical history with heart palpitations, dizziness, possible arrhythmia, episodes of faintness during exertion, a note recommending beta blocker trial dosage, all written on forged letterheads from doctors I'd never met. The fake cardiologist, Dr. Henley, didn't exist. The letterhead address? an office park with a nail salon, a tax place, and a massage parlor. He'd gone to a terrifying amount of effort. Beta blockers. The same medication he'd told Diana on the phone would make me dizzy before the overlook. Next folder, Eagles Point, hazards. He'd researched weather patterns, slippery rock zones, past accidents, emergency response times, cell coverage, blackout areas, the exact height of the drop. He even had diagrams, little dots marking the best push points, the backup locations, the spots with loose gravel where it would be easiest for her to slip. My blood felt like ice water. The worst part? There was also a spreadsheet titled Insurance Payout Projection, Harlow. Projected payout, $2,000. Secondary beneficiary, Diana. Submitted just yesterday, pending my signature. I sat back in his leather chair and covered my mouth with both hands. I didn't cry, didn't scream, didn't even tremble. I filed everything neatly into a flash drive, printed copies, and slipped them into the safe in my home office, the one where he never looked because he assumed I only kept passports and tax documents there. The irony wasn't lost on me. Evidence of my murder plot now lived beside our old love letters, the pills. At lunch, I opened my backpack, the one Ethan insisted I let him pack so you don't have to worry, and sifted through the contents. Energy bars, trail mix, bandages, a brand new water bottle, and tucked into the side pocket, exactly where he'd guessed I'd reach when I felt dizzy, a small amber bottle with a generic label, heart medication, beta blockers. He'd even printed a pharmacy sticker with Dr. O. Henley as the prescriber. I replaced his pills with identical-looking vitamins, pocketed the beta blockers as evidence, left everything else exactly where he'd put it. He'd expect the story to unfold exactly as he wrote it. I would let him think it would. The fake appointment. At 3 p.m., Ethan texted, "Don't forget Dr. Henley today. Want you ready for Friday." My skin crawled. I drove to the address he gave me out of morbid curiosity. There was no cardiology office, just a nail salon, a tax preparer, and a massage clinic. A receptionist at the massage place gave me a confused look when I asked about a doctor. "There's no medical office in this building, ma'am." Perfect. I looped to the real medical district and asked about Dr. Henley. Never heard of him. Didn't exist. When Ethan came home later and asked, "How'd the appointment go?" I smiled. "Great. He said I'm in excellent shape for hiking." For the first time all day, Ethan's mask cracked. Just a flash, like someone tugging the corner of a curtain. Then the smile returned. "That's wonderful, Lex," he murmured, kissing the top of my head. "I'm so relieved." Relieved I'm still on schedule for my death. The map session. That evening, Ethan spread the trail map across the kitchen table. He traced the route with a fingertip, narrating like a tour guide. Here's the trailhead, here's the switchback, here's the overlook. Perfect view, perfect moment. His finger lingered on the cliff edge, almost tender. I stared at his hands, hands that had held me through grief, held me through surgeries, held my face every morning like it was habit. Now they were hands that planned to push me to my death. "That spot," he murmured, tapping the overlook, "will be unforgettable." He meant it, just not in the way he thought. Diana's role. My phone buzzed. Marcus, my brother, called. "Hey, Alexia. Diana mentioned you and Ethan plan to hike Friday. Mind if we tag along?" "Tag along? As in be witness number one?" "Sure," I said evenly. "The more the merrier." "Oh, thank God," Marcus said. "Diana got new hiking boots and won't shut up about the trail." New boots, to help stage her alibi. Ethan's plan had witnesses built in. Mine would too. My turn. At dawn, I called Grace, my best friend, the one person besides my brother I trusted completely. "Grace," I whispered, "I need you on a hike Friday." Her voice sharpened instantly. "What happened?" "I'll explain later. Just bring your son and his camera." Grace didn't hesitate. "You got it." Next, I texted my coworker Ryan. "Can you come on a hike Friday? Need you to bring your mic. Don't ask yet." He replied instantly. "On it. Should I be worried?" "Yes," I typed, "but not for me." Friday was coming. Ethan thought it would be my last day alive. He had no idea I'd spent the entire week turning his perfect murder into the perfect trap. Friday morning arrived gray and heavy, as if the sky itself sensed what was coming. Ethan was humming again. His favorite tune, the one he'd hummed through birthdays, anniversaries. Even that night he brought home flowers, just because. Today, the sound made my skin crawl. He brewed my coffee with practiced ease, sliding the mug toward me across the counter like always. "Drink up, Lex. Big adventure ahead." I didn't touch it, not today, not with him. By 8:30, we were in this SUV, the heater humming, the trailhead coordinates punched into his GPS. Coordinates he'd memorized so thoroughly, he didn't really need the device at all. His fingers drummed on the steering wheel. He looked excited. And why wouldn't he be? It was the culmination of 27 years of planning. "We'll get incredible shots," he said, eyes on the road. "Best view in the whole county." I nodded, watching the trees blur past my window. 2 cars followed behind us, Marcus and Diana in their sedan, and Ryan and Grace's son Theo in Ryan's truck. My team, quiet, ready. Theo had 3 cameras with him, one around his neck, one strapped to his GoPro harness, and a drone packed in his backpack. The kid was practically a documentary crew on legs. Grace had insisted on coming too, but I told her no. If Ethan grew suspicious, I needed at least one ally off-site. The tension in the car thickened the closer we got to the trail. "You're quiet today," Ethan said lightly, glancing at me. "Just tired," I replied. "Didn't sleep well." "Perfect. He needed me vulnerable." He reached over and squeezed my hand. "Don't worry. I'll take care of you." My stomach flipped. He parked in the nearly empty lot overlooking the pine forest. Only one other car sat near the trailhead, a faded sedan. Ethan smiled. "Perfect. Less foot traffic. Fewer witnesses." Marcus and Diana joined us, Diana wearing sparkling new hiking boots, the tags barely off the laces. "Alexia," she beamed, hugging me tightly. Too tightly. "Are you ready?" "Ready to expose a murderer?" "Absolutely." Ryan lifted a hand in greeting, his coat slightly open, revealing the discreet mic clipped to his shirt. "Perfect." "Beautiful morning," Marcus said. "You sure you're feeling okay? You look pale." "Right on script." "I'm fine," I said, "just didn't eat enough." "See?" Ethan cut in. "I told her to take her medication before we left, but she didn't." Diana shot him a sharp look, an unspoken reprimand. "Don't reveal too much too soon." Theo snapped pictures constantly, getting candid shots of all of us. Little did Ethan know those photos would become evidence. We started the hike. The first mile wound through thick forest, sunlight slicing through branches in thin golden shards. Pine needles carpeted the ground, and the air tasted crisp and clean. Every few minutes, Ethan would reach back and touch my waist or shoulder as if steadying me. "Careful here, Lex. These rocks can be tricky. Take smaller steps. Remember what Dr. Henley said." He said the fake name so casually it made bile rise in my throat. I played the part. A stumble here, a hand to my forehead there, soft breaths, shallow steps. "Maybe we should turn back," Marcus said at one point, concern etching lines into his brow. "Oh, she's fine," Ethan insisted. "Fresh air is good for her heart." Diana stood just behind Marcus, nodding vigorously. "The exercise will help her circulation." Ryan shot me a subtle look. "Are you okay?" And I nodded once. We continued. The path steepened, wind picked up. The trees thinned as we climbed, and the sound of distant rushing water echoed somewhere below. Storm clouds gathered overhead, dark and swollen. "Looks like weather's moving in," Marcus warned. "That's why we should hurry," Ethan said quickly. Too quickly. "We're almost there. No point turning back now." The overlook was less than half a mile away. Ethan increased his pace. He wanted the moment to happen exactly as he planned. At the next rest stop, I sat on a low boulder and pressed a hand to my temples. "I'm dizzy," I said quietly. Ethan practically sprinted toward me. Sit down, Lex." His eyes were too bright. "Do you want your medication?" There it was, his moment. "I already took one this morning," I lied. "You did?" he said, thrown off, just for a breath. Then the mask slid back on. "Right, good." Diana crouched beside him. "Honey, maybe you shouldn't keep going." "We've come too far," Ethan snapped, then softened his tone. "Lex, sweetheart, just a little more. The overlook is stunning. You'll want to see it." "Want to—" I stared at him, the man I'd shared a home with for decades. "Okay," I whispered. His relief looked almost euphoric. The final ascent was brutal. The trail narrowed to single file, the drop-off on the right sharp and unforgiving. Loose gravel skittered beneath our boots. Wind shoved at us like an impatient hand. "Everyone be careful," Marcus shouted. But Ethan was already guiding me forward, one hand on my back. "Hold on to me, Lex. I've got you. I'll keep you safe." Safe. The word nearly made me laugh. We reached the overlook. A narrow rock ledge jutted into the air, the valley yawning beneath us in a dizzying sweep of jagged stone and distant river. Theo gasped, lifting his camera instantly. "This is insane," he murmured. "Best shot of my life." Ethan positioned himself exactly where I expected, left side of the ledge, where the gravel was loose and the edge dipped slightly downward. "Come here, Lex," he called, right beside me. I approached, heart pounding, wind biting at my cheeks. Ethan turned, his expression perfectly soft, perfectly loving. For anyone watching, he looked like a man gazing at the woman he adored. But I wasn't watching his face. I was watching his shoes, how he braced his left foot, how he shifted his weight subtly, preparing the angle. Closer, he murmured. You can't see the whole valley from there. I stepped onto the exact spot he'd chosen for my fall, and waited. He leaned in. Alexia, he whispered, there's something I need to tell you. Right on cue. I know about the affair, he said, voice trembling with manufactured pain. I blinked. What affair? He pulled out a folder from his jacket. Printed photos. Staged. Cheap manipulations of me with a man who wasn't even the right height. I hired a private investigator, he said. You broke my heart. He was setting motive. Motive for why I fell. Ethan, I said softly, I don't know who that is. Liar, he screamed, suddenly loud enough to echo. You humiliated me. You ruined everything. Behind him, Diana shifted position, ready to react as needed. Wind howled. Theo's camera clicked furiously. Ryan leaned forward slightly, mic angled. Ethan's face twisted. This is why you have to die, he whispered. His hands shot forward, and I moved. I pivoted hard to the left, throwing my weight into his momentum instead of fighting against it. His hand slipped past me, grasping at air. He stumbled. Shock flared in his eyes. Before he could recover, I grabbed his wrists. What the hell is going on? Marcus yelled. She tried to push me, Ethan shouted instantly, wild-eyed. She's unstable. Garrett, my coworker, stepped onto the ledge. His phone held out, recording. Actually, he said calmly, I think we have everything we need. Ethan froze. Theo looked up from behind his camera. Got it all, the teenager said. Audio, video, and like 20 photos. Diana went white. Ethan turned on her. Say it was self-defense. Say she came at me. But Diana was backing up, pale and shaking. I can't, she whispered. I can't lie anymore. Diana, he shouted. She flinched. Tears spilled down her cheeks. She told me you were going to leave her, Diana sobbed. She told me you were abusing her. She showed me bruises. Bruises. God. Those were fake? Marcus whispered. Diana nodded miserably. Ryan stepped forward. Ethan, it's over. Ethan sagged. His shoulders fell. His face drained of color. I pulled my phone from my pocket and dialed 911. Yes, I said, my voice steady. I'd like to report an attempted murder. The hike back down the mountain felt like moving through a dream. Sharp, surreal, the trees tilting with each shaky breath I took. Ethan walked ahead of us at first, shoulders rigid, jaw clenched, as if some part of him still believed he could salvage the narrative if he just spoke fast enough or loud enough when the police arrived. But every step we took, every gust of wind, every snap of a twig underfoot made it clearer. He wasn't in control anymore. I was. Diana trailed beside Marcus, crying silently. Not theatrically, not the way she'd rehearsed for court when she thought she'd be lying for Ethan, but truly crying. A woman cracking under the weight of 2 years of deception. I believed her, she whispered to Marcus. She said Alexia was violent, that she was planning to leave Ethan destitute, that she screamed at him behind closed doors. Marcus said nothing. There wasn't anything to say. He had spent the past decade trusting Ethan and Diana more than his own sister, and now the truth was crushing him from both sides. Behind us, Theo carried his cameras like holy artifacts, shaken but deadly sure of what he had captured. Ryan stayed close, always positioned between Ethan and the rest of us. His jaw set, eyes sharp. He looked like a man prepared to tackle Ethan into the dirt if needed. And Ethan kept trying. He walked faster, then slower, then suddenly turned and barked. She planned this. She planned the whole thing. No one responded. We were done listening. When the trail opened into the parking lot, 2 police SUVs and an ambulance sat waiting, lights flashing silently in the gray morning. Ethan froze. That was the moment I think he finally understood. He wasn't getting out of this. A detective approached, calm but firm. Ma'am, you're Alexia Harlow? Yes, I said. And this is the man who attempted to push you off the overlook? Ethan lunged forward before I could answer. She's lying. I tried to help her. She slipped. Ask Diana. Ask my sister. Diana flinched as if he'd slapped her. I can't, she whispered. I can't do this anymore. Ethan's face twisted. The detective raised a hand. Sir, I need you to step back. Ethan didn't. Ethan Caldwell, the detective said, voice flattening. You're under arrest for attempted murder. The words landed harder than the cuffs. He shouted. He fought. He swore I had manipulated him, tricked him, seduced him, ruined him. But the recordings, Ryan's audio, Theo's video, my own phone call recording from the night I overheard them, together they built a cage he couldn't crawl out of. The officers escorted him to the cruiser while he screamed through the window. "You did this! You destroyed us, Lex! I loved you! I did everything for you!" I turned away. I didn't need to hear it. I had heard enough in the last week to last me a lifetime. The trial. The trial was 6 weeks of hell. Camera crews outside the courthouse. Local reporters calling it the Overlook conspiracy. Ethan's defense team scrambled through every excuse in the book. He was mentally unstable. Diana masterminded the plan. He was delusional with love. He was trying to save me from hurting myself. The videos were taken out of context. The audio was misinterpreted, but the evidence was overwhelming. The forged medical records, the fake doctor's notes, the fabricated heart condition, the trail diagrams, the search history of accidental deaths that leave no trace. The insurance policy changes, the building he rented for the fake appointment, the pills, the tracker device. And when investigators dug deeper, they found something worse. Another suspicious death. 25 years ago, a wealthy man he once dated died in a boating accident. The insurance payout from that case had also gone to Ethan. It didn't take a forensic psychologist to see the pattern. The prosecution laid it out cleanly. The defendant is a long-term, meticulous planner with a history of exploiting romantic partners for financial gain. This is not a crime of passion. This is a career. Diana testified through tears. Marcus did too, his voice shaking with betrayal. Even Rebecca, the elderly assistant Ethan claimed I was having an affair with, took the stand and laughed so hard the judge had to call a recess. When all was said and done, Ethan was sentenced to 25 years to life for attempted murder and conspiracy. Diana received 2 years for aiding in the plot, reduced for cooperating. It was over, legally, but emotionally, not even close. After, I sold the house. I couldn't walk past the kitchen without hearing his voice saying, "Take your medication." Couldn't sit on the couch where he'd kissed me while planning my death. Couldn't sleep in the bed where he whispered goodnight, knowing he was counting down the days. I moved to a small cabin outside town. Quiet, open, filled with light. My therapist, Dr. Marquez, said my symptoms were typical. Hypervigilance, insomnia, sudden waves of grief for a person who never existed, guilt over missing red flags, grief over the life I thought I had. "Your love was real," she said once. "His wasn't. The betrayal is not your shame, it's his pathology." I adopted a German shepherd named Mercury. She sleeps by the door every night. Nothing gets past her. I sleep better knowing that. Some days, I even hike again. The irony isn't lost on me. The activity meant to kill me became the activity that healed me. Being on a mountaintop again, with no one behind me but open air, felt like reclaiming something Ethan tried to steal. Life. Freedom. Myself. The letter. 6 months after the sentencing, I received a letter from Ethan in prison. I almost threw it away. Curiosity won. Inside, his handwriting, neat and familiar. "Alexia, you think you know everything, but there are things about your family you never questioned. Your father's death wasn't an accident. I can prove it. Visit me within 30 days or the truth dies with me." I burned the letter. And still, some nights I stared into the flame and wondered what truth he thought he had left to weaponize. But I never answered. He had taken enough of my life. He wouldn't get another second. One bright morning, Mercury and I hiked a quiet trail outside town. The summit looked nothing like the overlook where Ethan tried to kill me. Wide, safe, sunlit. But the wind felt the same. Clean, cold, honest. I took a picture of the view, just because it was beautiful. Not because someone told me to, not because it might be my last. Just because I wanted to. Survival is a strange gift. Quiet, uneven, but mine. And for the first time in a very long time, I felt free.